What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I watched the Real Housewives of Atlanta last night and we got to get into it. Okay. So, one thing I will say, I love when the shows, intertwine, like Dr. Jackie, she gets a check for all of these women, and Dr. Jackie knows her stuff, right? Like, if I had to choose an OB-GYN between Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, it would most definitely be Dr. Jackie. She just seems a lot more professional to me. But Sanya goes to see Dr. Jackie, and again, I love that for her, that she's pregnant now. And they were a little, sad, but her and her husband have rebounded. She's posing pictures with her baby bump. Super cute. Love that. Marlo had an event honoring, you know, people who successfully made it out of the foster care system. And I think that that's so important because I've heard horror stories about what the foster care system does to people. And a lot of times, it just breaks their spirit, it destroys them. I mean, Marlo has said, many times how difficult it was for her. I know her and Kandi have gone back and forth, and Marlo has said to Kandi, well, you were raised better than I was, and, your mom was there for you. And Kandi does have a strong support system in her family that Marlo doesn't have. And it just breaks my heart. You know what I mean? Like how she did her nephew, she put them out. And it's just this generational cycle of abuse, right? Because she said that the same thing happened to her. I believe it was around the same age. Like she was like 15 or something. And I'm glad that she's, brought the boys back. But still, I can't imagine how devastating that would be, as a teenager, your auntie putting you out. But on a more positive note, she has this event that shows, professionals. She even had someone there who decided to go into social work and go into leadership in the foster care system to try to improve it and change it from the inside. So kudos to Marlo. She's not one of my favorite people, but I was glad to see that, she was doing something positive, hopefully, healing for her. Scott Lee, her boyfriend, he showed up. So that was wonderful as well. Moving on to Tyler Perry Jr. Jr. No, Todd, he says that he took a page out of Tyler Perry's book when he's filming the movie. He said Tyler Perry's philosophy is use as little money and as little time as possible to crank out the final product. So to cut back on budget, they utilized their own home and bedroom for the scenes with Drew. Okay, they said that Drew's a really, really good actress. Her soon-to-be ex-husband, though, Ralph, and I haven't talked about him a lot because he 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 grosses me out a bit. He creeps me out. He doesn't treat Drew very well. Like he was asking really intrusive questions about the bedroom scene, and she's like, I mean, that's the only thing that you've asked about. He doesn't seem to care about Drew at all, as far as anything else that's not inappropriate. Like we saw last week, and I forgot to do a recap video, but I mean, he, well, she hugged Ross. I think she hugged Ross, Sanya's husband, and so he just in a very passive aggressive way went around hugging all the women until she finally had to walk up to him. She was like, "Hi, husband." But with them, sitting down and talking about Drew's character that she's playing in Kandi and Todd's film, it was just the line of questioning was so inappropriate. You could tell, like you could see, like his eyes lit up. Lies. He lies a lot too. His eyes, lit up, and you could tell she was just really uncomfortable. So I'm glad that Drew is separating from him and that she's, on her healing journey as well. Because Ralph, he doesn't treat her He doesn't treat her very good. Okay, so yeah, and he was also disruptive when he visited her in her trailer. Just he reminds me of like a bad little kid, you know, just very emotionally stunted, especially at his big age. So, moving on. Speaking of emotionally stunted, we have Martell Holt show up in the family color pink, which I thought was interesting, right? That was definitely a choice. But of course, we have Bob, okay, big emotionally stunted Bob, who doesn't treat Sheree well either. And I'm glad that they're divorced. I really want Sheree to win. Like, it just doesn't seem like um, she has a good picker, right? Like the old folks used to say, like her picker is off when it comes to men, because Martell definitely, you know, called her a friend girl, right? Not his girlfriend, but he said that she was merely a friend girl. However, you can tell, you know, that Sheree definitely wanted more than that, but he's stringing her along just like he was stringing Ariana Curry along as well. But you know, Sheree is grown and she's gonna do what she does. Bob, on the other hand, um, brings out brings out his daughter that she had on the family color as well. And Sheree, first, you know, they didn't know, and that's the photo I chose to use because the ladies were confused. They're like, "Who is this person with Bob?" First, they thought it was his girlfriend, and then they're like, no. And so, you know, she comes up and she's like, you know, oh, well, you know, I'm his daughter. And Sheree's like, daughter? And so everybody, you know, then the lady started asking him questions like, you know, what do you mean? Did Sheree know? And blah, 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 blah. How old is she? And she is, I believe, 2 years younger than their oldest child together, Sheree and Bob, because they were married for, you know, quite a long time. And they were even on Iyanla Fix My Life. And he said things to her, like, you know, when they were in that band on earlier seasons, and he was talking about putting his, you know, his big hands around her neck. And he's like, well, maybe I didn't, you know, you enough. Like, just violent. Like, he, like, not only physically violent, which is horrible. My heart broke when, you know, Sheree was sharing that with the ladies, but he's just emotionally violent, you know, psychologically violent. Like, why would you spring that on this on the baby? Mecca, by the way, is so cute, so adorable. Okay, Sheree's house looked beautiful, and the sip and see was beautiful. But why would you reveal your daughter and make it about you at your grandchild's, you know, baby reveal? Like, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Just so so narcissistic. That's the word that I'm looking for. That reminds me of just him being a textbook narcissist. And Sheree, you know, the episode ends and she's taking a picture with all the ladies, and he's like, she was like, you know, he was a piece of ish then, and he's a piece of ish now. Say cheese, and everyone's like, cheese. So the episode, you know, ends. But you guys drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts, because I am just so over Bob Whitfield. If I was Sheree, I would have changed my name back to my maiden name like Melody did. She says she don't want nothing from Martell, not even his last name. And you would think that by, watching the shows and seeing, you know, how he did Melody, that she wouldn't want to be around anybody like that. But Sheree's gonna do what Sheree, you know, what she does. That picker. Ladies, make sure you check your picker. All right, with that being said, y'all, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will talk with you later. Take care, aces. Bye.